Hello, let's talk about the new merger for HBO Max and Discovery Plus around next April, May, June, next summer, 2023. What are they going to do? What are they going to call it? How much are they going to charge? How are they going to get? Which mostly they say is comfort TV, unscripted, they point the camera, things happen. It's real cheap to do, and it doesn't cost a lot right now. And mostly women watch it. The men there's a lot of good shows on it too for the men, but mostly. HBO Max, more expensive, about $10 to $15. Ads, about 10. No ads, 15. Mostly men like scripted programs, more action and adventure, but there are some women shows. There are documentaries on here. What are they going to do? I would, if they're going to call it, we'll call it HBO Plus for now. Because everyone's like, it's going to be WB something, Warner Brothers. It's going to be Warner Media Discovery. It's going to be WB Discovery. It's Plus. Or Discovery Plus HBO. That gets both names in there. But you got to remember, HBO is real big in the United States. And they're trying to market it overseas. But overseas, like in Canada, if you go on the web, like in your web browser, go to Crave. It's a streaming service for Canada. And in it, Crave has Canadian shows. It has HBO in a little block. It has Showtime in a little block. And they don't have that, because Canada doesn't have a lot of people. They got like 4 million subscribers for everything. It's not that big a deal. So what will they do? Disney's known all over the world. Warner Brothers is a popular brand for movies all over the world, but movies are kind of dying out. And Zaslav, who runs Discovery and is running the two merged companies, has said he wants to concentrate on more sports, news, shows. He's going to keep those unscripted shows because they're cheap to do. Less movies, and if they do get released, they get released in movie theaters and then on DVD and then on cable, like in the old days, because they make money that way. He has to come up with $3 billion real quick, so he cancels the Batgirl movie. But when they start making some money, I'll bet that makes an appearance. Okay, they'll try to release it theatrically or DVD it and make money. A quick release, and then work it on HBO Plus. We'll call it that. I think it'll get finished. It's so close to finish now that it'll get finished when they're making some money and they can, do something, because they want to create a DC universe, but they're making the Joker 2 movie, which doesn't belong in any DC universe. And Robert Pattinson's Batman will probably get a second movie because it made so much money, and that's not going to be part of the new DC universe probably. So DC's always been light that way. So what will they do? They've got tons of unscripted stuff. Joanna Gaines is very popular. And the Magnolia Network's gotten very popular on Discovery. A lot of that's going to be coming to HBO Max. I think the price of Discovery is going to slowly start bouncing up as they put more stuff on HBO and HBO stuff on Discovery. Back and forth. Just go back and forth. Because for them, most of these people, that's new stuff. And they'll go, we're getting a few of these series, and since mostly women are watching, you let a lot of the women-based shows dominate those new shows. And now we're not getting our network for HBO to open up fast for the video. Really? I got Spectrum Internet. I'm going to blame them. That's the way I see it. Come on. Let's go back to home. Whatever you got to do, start over. There we go. HBO's always had a little bit of a buggy app. What are they going to do about the logo? What are they going to do about, we'll get more characters, I guess, for the little characters to pick from, because you'll have two different sources. Nico, you could be a character. Don't knock the camera over. Nico loves to knock the camera over. You can say hey. Come here. There he is. Come on, say hey. Woo! Westworld, HBO original. Now this is where it gets stupid. And they got to change a lot of this. And their hubs, they have HBO. New show, HBO original. Time Traveler's Wife, HBO original. Gentleman Jack, HBO original. These are new shows, all right? And what makes no sense, Max originals, based on Cinemax, because they also own that. Okay, that's where the name came from. Max original, Max original, Max original. And it's Warner Brothers. I mean, owns DC Comics. Excuse me. No, it's not COVID. Okay, so they got to change all this to whatever the new name is and make it whatever their HBO or Max or WB originals. But see, a lot of this could sneak over to Discovery. Look, we're giving you some TV shows. We're giving you some movies. There was talk of having a free tier with like classic movies, then lots of ads. That way people could watch them, but they could get money for the ads because they're doing everything kind of old school. They're going to go back to the basics, get money for ads, not have as many movies. If it's a big budget movie, it goes to a theater and then it gets released. And if Netflix wants it and they want to pay some money, they'll get it first because they're paying for it. Right now, Warner Brothers does produce movies and TV shows for others. Ted Lasso, biggest show on Apple TV Plus, is a Warner Brothers show. They're going to continue to do stuff like that because they got to make money. They have stockholders that want money. And sorry, that's why Batgirl got canceled, because they didn't think it could make it in the theater and it was too expensive to throw out on HBO for 2 hours and everyone watches it once and then they don't care about subscribing to HBO. That is the secret for the streaming end of it. I mean, for other things, they still have their cable business with HBO, and they'll probably rename that for cable. All those Discovery channels on cable are still popular enough and making money hand over fist that they can keep that going. It's going to go back to the old school, the way things used to be. But they're going to get you to pay for HBO, and you're going to have ads to deal with. So you're paying and you're getting ads. And the prices are slowly going back to cable prices because they knew you used to pay this much. You're going to pay it again. They're going to slowly weed that back in. But everyone's trying to get one big app together. So they're going to change this to HBO Plus or whatever great Warner Brothers name they come up with, Warner Discovery. I don't think it'll be Discovery because if you look up the prices now, Discovery Plus only has a monthly price. They've gotten rid of their annual 1 year because they're ready to drop. HBO still has yearly prices that you can pay for a whole year and get. So I think they'll lean the HBO route because they're trying to get the name out there, but it's not that big a deal. Warner Brothers Plus, Warner Media Plus, something might be a little bigger, Warner Discovery. But this has tons of subscribers. Discovery has about as many subscribers as Starz. And Starz is not a big system, but it's a cool name. You got to have a cool name for it. Maybe they'll come up with a brand new name for the whole thing. Just to get everybody. They've got DC Comics, big thing. They even said, the DC Universe, they want to build it like Marvel, but see, Marvel's isn't doing as well on Disney Plus. It's getting popular. It's like that cool Marvel show. You got to have a couple episodes to keep people going. Then the Star Wars show kicks in. Then in a couple weeks, and you're not getting much, but then all of a sudden you get a new Marvel show you can watch or a new Star Wars. They got to keep you going. Movies are not making it. They'll go to the theaters a couple times a year and that's it, or sell it to somebody else and let them have it for a while or whatever, or let them go to the theater. They'll make it for them, or they'll combine studios. They'll do something to make some money the old-fashioned way. But having a movie for 2 hours on a streaming service is cool, but are you paying for that streaming service for a whole month to watch that movie? They want you on this streaming service every month. How are they going to do that? Cool shows that you recognize the names, at least a few. You got to have some new stuff, but they're going to have fewer scripted shows, which means, animation. They're calling Titans a Max original, Doom Patrol. A lot of these things probably get canceled in favor of the new universe. Let's look at Turner Classic Movies, since they own the rights to a lot of these things. Can you see a North by Northwest limited TV series that runs 6-7 episodes, so you get 6-7 hours of adventure from this? And it's got the name recognition. Remember, they did Perry Mason, a different version of Perry Mason on HBO, and it ran several episodes, so you kept tuning in week after week after week, so it made your HBO feel like it was worth something. A 2-hour Perry Mason movie we would have watched, boom, done. The Queen's Gambit on Netflix. They did pretty much the whole book. They made some changes, but it was pretty much the whole book. And it took like 6-7 episodes. Was that cheaper than a movie? And it keeps you watching week after week after week, except at Netflix, they just release everything at once. And that's going to be a downfall for them. No one else is doing that. Everyone's looking like, Amazon might do it a little bit still. But they're all going to look at it like, we got to keep them focused. We got to keep them coming back week after week after week. And the way to do that is maybe give them one, if it's a little weak start, give them 1 or 2 episodes right away, so they get into it, and then they have to watch the rest of them week after week after week. Keep them. That is the goal. Stockholders have to be happy. You have to save some money, so they have to make deep cuts. I'm the new boss. I'm making deep cuts, so I'm doing my job. Pay me a couple million bonus this year. And that's what the way it works in the CEO world. And for a while, he's going to be doing that. But then when they level out, he's got Batgirl's pretty much finished. They could release it. Even if there are little scenes missing, they could just and release it and make a big deal out of it, and everyone would tune in. In 2 months, Batgirl's coming out. Ooh, we got to get HBO. But look at some of the things they've got. Little Women, TV show. The Great Escape. It's kind of Hogan's Heroes was a huge hit on TV back in the day. Great Escape. Could be a TV show or a limited series. Keep them there week after week after week. Big stars. You're doing this 6-7 hour thing. You just keep in production. A lot of big stars everywhere. Keep people coming back. Miss Congeniality, The Notebook, Mr. Roberts. These are brands that people recognize and go, oh, Mr. Roberts, oh, I know what that is. Not everyone would know what that is, but there are a lot of people that would know what that is. And they would say, hey, I would like to see that. You always release something they've heard of. That way they have to tune in to see, I want to see that. Something from DC. And if you haven't got a DC, you've got something else that people have heard of that want to tune in. Adult Swim's got some crazy stuff. What if you made it live action? Or you did a different version of it? People like dinosaurs. This would be interesting. He rides that T-Rex in the cartoon, so. A lot of wild Rick and Morty's classic. It's basically Back to the Future. Samurai Jack. All these wild things they could turn live action or do a limited series on. Bring some books to life. Some could be great series. There are already book series. There's book after book after book on one character. You could bring that to life with as many episodes as it takes to tell book 1. And next year, or second season, book 2. But it keeps them tuned in. Now this is on HBO, but they don't own the rights to it, okay? Classic stuff. Cartoon Network. Yay, Cowardly Dog. Scooby-Doo. Really? You can't do something with Scooby-Doo again? Just to get the kids? You got those different age groups you gotta get. Powerpuff Girls. I was talking about live action. I think that got canceled. I don't know. See, the DC Comics stuff can go in every age group. Little creativity. Dexter. Live action. What do you think? Sesame. They could talk to Sesame about doing something. There's Grover. Looney Tunes. Duh. I have something different coming out with that. I mean, instead of doing the little movies, every once in a while, if they're cheap enough, you can do them. I remember when Saturday night was the night for new movies on HBO. And this Cartnito seems to be for little kids. But at least it's kind of a weird name. But the little kids probably know what it is. Expect more kitty cat shows. Oh, that's unique. I thought you were the new HBO show. Yeah. I would suggest less movies. Sorry, but The Queen's Gambit was an excellent telling of the book in the time it took. And they were planning on a movie, but Netflix gave them the money to do the limited series. And it came out just great. Just great. And the fact that it was spread out, you got more in depth into it. Do some limited series based on real books that people know they've heard of, and use that as the basis of shows. And occasionally new shows. You got to mix it in, but you got to have something to grab their attention. Did you hear this is coming out on HBO? Did you hear this is coming out? But don't have two things in the same category coming out. Did you hear this DC show is coming out at the same time as this DC show? No, you got to spread them out. Get it stretched out, maybe with only a 1 or 2 week gap, so they can't really cancel. If they do cancel before that month's up, they got to redo it because you got something else cool coming out. It's just constantly, you got to have something to get everyone in the family. I got to see this. I got to see this. All that stuff on Discovery, you can just slowly put into HBO now and get people used to seeing these kind of shows, so that the mom and dads are getting used to watching, the Magnolia Network or Dirty Jobs or something like that. And cooking shows and all that. My wife loves that stuff. Although she doesn't want to get Discovery, she's good without it. We got too many services bouncing around now. But when she had cable, she would watch that stuff. She loved it. And occasionally she can find some of that stuff on YouTube and just watch an episode or a clip and get her fix on that. And I do the same thing. I watch little cheats, Dirty Jobs, the new Dirty Jobs that he just did a couple extra episodes. I said, oh, that's cool. And you do stuff like that. And they can make money. Keep the streaming service making money, but they got to have some movies out to sell and TV shows to make and sell to other people, and say Warner Brothers is doing this and this and this, and they eventually can get the rights to that show back so they can put it on HBO Plus or whatever they call it, or they can really get a big check from somebody. I don't know if Apple's going to have the rights to Ted Lasso forever, and it's Apple's show, even though they say it's original, but Netflix had all those Marvel shows, and then Marvel said we're canceling all that stuff, every one of them, and then they wait, and now it's all on Disney Plus, and it's their stuff, it's their property. So that was the deal. It was like, oh yeah, we'll let you have it for the right money, and then we can tell you when to stop it and when to have it. And they can do the same thing with DC. They can sell it off to somebody else. And right now the CW network, they're talking about selling it. And really, that's just CBS and Warner Brothers. So that's HBO and CBS Paramount. That's all it is. And those shows are mixed now, and they're slowly going to different things. I think Walker, Texas Rangers on HBO now. And we're watching it commercial free. Because on CW, it's hard to get rid of commercials. But I have a tableau. And an antenna. And the antenna pulls it, records it on the DVR or the tableau. And we can skip commercials when we think about it. It's amazing how many times we just sit there going through a commercial and go, oh, we didn't skip it. You know, you have to skip it by hand. It advertised some kind of automatic skip, but that didn't work out real well. So we just ignore that. So, looking forward to the mix. I've refused to subscribe to Discovery Plus because I said, well, let it get mixed. It was supposed to be this summer, I thought. But it looks like next summer sometime they'll mix it and I'll have access to it then. I can wait. It's like a good movie. I can wait. It'll get it on streaming soon. I know they don't want to hear that from me. But, you know, I'm cheap enough like that. But yeah, let them make, they got to make some money. You know, don't get all hung up on Batgirl getting canceled. It's still there. It can get released and finished by either, if Zaslav only lasts 5-6 years, he's a little older. And whoever takes over next, they'll be like, and I've got Batgirl to release for you guys. And they'll go, yay, you know, and you will get to see it. They have to kind of do a quick edit at the ending or whatever they have to do. But it can get released eventually. They have to pay the government back into that tax money they got from it. So, HBO Discovery. Looking forward to the merger. All these companies, you know, eventually Hulu will go into Disney Plus. ESPN may merge into it. Paramount and Showtime need to merge. This needs to change to Universal Plus. The NBC owns Universal Studios. Universal Plus, yeah. When it goes worldwide. Whoever buys that, that's the name is just sitting there. Okay, till next time. Bye-bye.